Hi everybody, this is Kip Phillips with UpN-Coming. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We have with us a very special guest. We want to promote a lot of different artists out there, especially in the Charlotte area. And there's so much talent out there, and it is very rare that we find some really gifted people out there that are really showing some positive music, putting some positive music out there, and really just making a difference in today's music. And we have in the studio today a very special guest, Miss Destiny B, who is definitely on her way and doing her things in a positive way. So we're going to be interviewing her and talking to her a little bit and getting to know her and see how we can, really support her work and get out there and promote her as much as we possibly can. 'Cause she is definitely making a difference in the music business, and we want to check her out. Okay. And so without further ado, Miss Destiny B. How you doing, Miss Destiny B?
I'm great. How are you? How's it going?
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Oh, good.
Nice to sit down.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. I just got a couple of questions. A lot of people just really want to know, what you're doing, how you're getting yourself out there. And so we just really want to, see where you're at and where you're going.
Okay.
Okay. Now, just give us a little rundown of the beginning stages of Destiny B. Like, who influenced your music as a youngster?
Coming up, I was traditionally raised with gospel and R&B and soul and all that good stuff. And so I started off listening to Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Kim Burrell, Sweet Honey in the Rock, a lot of R&B soul and neo soul, and that sort of influenced my vocal styling and how I came about. I studied Ella Fitzgerald, so I'm very much a jazz influenced singer.
Oh, wow, that sounds good. You have a lot of, good influences on your music, and we can definitely tell that with the kind of music that you're putting out there. Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Long Island, New York, small town in Long Island.
Okay, good. And how long you been singing?
I've been singing since I was a young child. Of course, we all start from the church somehow, but I officially started training and taking voice lessons at 14, and I went into Long Island High School for the Arts, and I went in as a vocal major, studying classical, jazz, pop, and theater as well. So I was all over the place training in different. I also trained privately as well.
Oh, wow. You just got a whole bunch of background influences on your music. That's awesome. Now, do you think that with today's music, with all the background influences that you have with Patti LaBelle, Ella Fitzgerald, do you think that today's music is of equal value as it was back then?
I think as times change, we have certain priorities as far as music is concerned, and I think we just have a bad balance these days. There's not enough positive in music that is substantive as opposed to the music that is superficial and has no real weight to it. So I think that we sort of need to rebalance things and have an equal level of superficiality, fun, and excitement, and then we need to address social issues, emotional issues, and things that people go through in their everyday life.
Wow, that's excellent. I'm glad you're taking all those things into consideration with your music. Now, as a child, when did you realize that you had the gift of music, that you had the gift of writing and the gift of, being very lyrical and very influential in that way?
Well, I have an aunt, and she gave me a journal when I was about 8 years old, and I'm thankful for that journal. And I was able to begin expressing myself and writing my feelings down and writing things that children go through that oftentimes are not spoken about, and writing those things down in a journal, which was my first introduction to voicing my opinion and voicing my views. And it eventually turned into music as I grew into my preteen years, and I did start to go to open mic nights. I actually was allowed into a bar when I was about 12 in Long Island and Mineola, and I used to go and sing open mic night with a live band, and it was an exciting thing for me, and it was a way to express whatever I had on my mind and to let out that artistic energy.
All right, great. Now, I noticed that with your music, you you do a lot of your own music as far as, your music itself, and then also the lyrics. Now, when did you start actually doing your own writing?
Well, at 18, I was going through a lot of revelations and having a lot of mind and eye-opening experiences. And so I kind of couldn't relate to other people's music anymore, because I had so much of my own story and triumphs and victories myself. And so I began to, explore writing music. And then I had this Mac computer that I had for about 2 years, and I used it, but I never thought, well, maybe I could compose in GarageBand a little bit. I know some chords and triads, and I just got together with some people and, learned how to use GarageBand, and sat down one day and decided to create my own song. And that was the beginning. I just said, oh my God, I'm really good at this. I love it. And I just began to write, and here I am 3-4 years later with 50 songs complete and composed, written and recorded by me. And I have my own little home studio, and it definitely has been a learning experience. As I go and grow, I have been expanding and definitely exploring all types of musical creativity.
Wow, you can definitely tell in your music. You're very gifted in that way, with your music, with your writing. Now, how often do you write?
I have weird spurts of inspiration. It depends on how I'm feeling inspired. There's times when I'll go a month without writing, and then when I come back to write, I'll write for a whole month every day. And then there's times where I may write for 3 days out of a week and rest the other days, and then the next week it'll be 7 days. So it's sort of dependent on my inspiration and what's going on in my life. I sometimes have more influential things happening with my life, and then sometimes it's external. I may drive past a billboard and receive revelation.
Wow.
And so I just, I may see children running in the mall and decide,
Right.
okay, that touched me, and it'll do something to me and inspire me to write. So there's no set time, but it's definitely constant.
Right. So you talk about inspiration a lot in your music. So you do find just different things to inspire you that are surrounding you, and basically also you're saying that you pretty much, your life experience have pretty much inspired you. Because with some of your songs that I listen to, like Forgive Me, and that's a real deep song, and that's coming from a place, with your mother. And you all need to just check that song out. It's really deep. But you get a lot of inspiration. Now, as a writer and as a person that does their own music, with other artists, do you feel that is important to contribute to their own music that they're singing?
Of course. I think that it's definitely a trait that one should have, because the biggest problem for me was singing other people's song, and you can always get the technique down. You can always sing it to perfection, note for note. But the emotion and as I keep saying, the revelation of the song has to be coming from you. If your goal is to touch people's hearts and minds and change their lives, you're going to have to be able to relate to the music that you are singing or playing. And so it's important to write your own music, because then you can speak from that place of personal revelation, and you can actually mean what you're saying. That it actually really does have some weight in your life, as opposed to, being a carbon copy of someone else, or singing someone else's song the way they do it, which has its own value, but it definitely helps one to be able to do both. I think everything is really about balance.